So, welcome to Brit in Poland. If you've never tuned into this channel, my name is Richard and I make videos about life in Poland. And in this week's video, I have done something new for me, something very exciting, very crazy, but so rewarding. And basically I signed up for a kayaking trip. So right now is day 4, you could say. So we've done 3 stretches on a kayak, two 19-kilometer stretches and one 13-kilometer. It was my very first time kayaking, and we're going down the Brda river, I think. So we're kind of up in Pomerania slash the region that Bydgoszcz is in. I think we're getting closer to Bydgoszcz with each journey. And so this video is going to tell you about this whole adventure. You will see lots of footage of Polish rivers, of fun camp nights, singing in front of the open fire. So I hope you enjoy. This trip has been amazing for me, and to confirm, actually the people I'm with, basically the same group of people I went to Brda with in February. So it's great to be part of this community. So I hope you enjoy. A few small credits, and then you get to enjoy Polish rivers and a bit of kayaking adventure. See you soon. Dzień dobry and welcome to A Brit in Poland. This channel is going to bring you everything you need to know about Poland. I am exploring the country, bringing you the history, trying to tell you about the culture and show you what it is really like to live here. So feel free to check out my other media, Instagram, Facebook, and I will share links to those in the comments. I also have a website, www.britlivinginpoland.com, where I collate my videos for easy to view manner. Also, you are welcome to contribute to my efforts through Patronite or Patreon, and all descriptions are available below the video. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and please come back for more by subscribing, liking, or commenting. Thank you very much. Do zobaczenia.
So we are going to kind of northern Poland, pretty central. We're in the Kujawian-Pomeranian Voivodeship, pretty close to Bydgoszcz, just sort of north of there. And here you can see like a rough area of the course. Of course, the map here is perhaps not following the river exactly, but it gives you an idea of the stretch. So at the beginning, day 1, we travelled after work to reach the campsite. It was a fairly long drive, I think about 3 or 4 hours to get to our destination. And of course, we had to start with a lovely fire to really make the most of the start of the trip. Of course, these fires are what I love. And yeah, we were all pretty tired. But here's a view of the campsite, which I think is called like the Brda campsite, which is funny because obviously that's the name of the river. And Brda, so not exactly the easiest one to pronounce. Here is some of the breakfast materials that people were bringing. And on the first day, actually, we didn't start from the campsite. We drove north to a place called Zapora Milów. And this was our, let's say, launching site. So gradually we are walking down to the kayak location. The kayaks haven't been delivered yet, but they will be shortly. And at this point, I think my heart was probably racing quite a lot, with kind of nervous anticipation of what it was going to be like to be on the water. My main goal of this trip was to not die. Second goal was not to fall in the water. So we'll see how we get on as the trip progresses. So here we are. Most people were in the two-person kayaks, and at the start we did something called rafting, where we all kind of banded together. There's Michal, he was the only solo kayakist, and he was often way ahead of the group, so I think one of the more experienced kayakers with us. And to begin, it was very calm, very relaxing. I was with Aga on the first day. Aga I've met a few times, originally through some of the Warsaw global hiking events, and so she was kind of my instructor, helping me to get to grips with how to navigate using a kayak. And we took a bit of a break at this point. We didn't take many breaks, I'd say, during the journeys, but it was always nice. Yeah, it was, this is back to the camp. And there, next to our camp, there was, like, let's say, a more populated camp where we went for a nice hot meal. I think I had some jurek, because some hot, good food is good. And as you can see, a bit of Polish singing. You will see a fair bit of that. It was one of our, let's say, favourite activities to do in the campsites in the various evenings, and I even had a bit of a go singing myself. And next day, as you can see, people arrived with like a lot of equipment. Made me realise I need to up my kitchen game. Here was a rather bizarre statue, which some king of the sea or king of kayaking, I'm not sure. Of course, we had to move from site to site, so we're busy like packing up the tents at this stage. And we also decided, why not have a bit of fun? So we played a little bit of volleyball. Well, at least we made an effort to play some volleyball while we were there, which is a nice bit of exercise. We got so lucky with the weather. And we say goodbye to campsite number 1. The first stretch of the journey was about 19 kilometers, and it was, pretty easy going. So on day 2, let's say kayaking day 2, we are heading back down the river for another 19 kilometer stretch. This time I was with Janek, who is a very strong, well-built bloke. But we had a little bit of trouble navigating the kayak. I think this particular one was perhaps weighted a little bit differently than we were used to. And again, the trip started out pretty relaxed. It's always nice to have a beer on the water. It started to rain, so we decided we were going to take a little bit of a break. And we stopped to just enjoy a few drinks on the riverbank while we waited for the weather to settle a little bit. Luckily, the rain didn't last for too long. So we get back on the water. And one of the fun things about the whole experience with kayaking is it is a big problem-solving exercise. You know, whenever you encounter like a tree across the water or any rocks or any kind of obstacle at all, you're always thinking, okay, do I go left? Do I go right? Do I go over? Do I go under? It's, really good exercise in teamwork. And I think, a lot of companies should consider like group kayaking trips, because I think it's a great way to create a bit of bonding between people. The Brda River is actually 235 kilometers long, so it's, and it's pretty big. It's a tributary of the Vistula. And this is our second campsite. We had some rather well-equipped campsites on the way. So we had plenty of spaces for showers and toilets, which was a bonus because we were advised to bring shovels for this trip just in case of certain toilet visits. So here we have Aga preparing the fire for the third evening. And with most of these campsites, you basically kind of order the wood and they bring it to you, which after a long day of kayaking certainly is a nice bonus, because the last thing you want to really be doing is gathering wood. So here we are again around the fire, and at each campsite, of course, we had different people because we were sharing these fire pits with the other people there. And more singing, more cooking, and more bonding, with a fair few drinks in tow. But we didn't get super wasted on these trips. It was more a few shots of Sublicy. Okay, so a little bit more singing for you. And here is a little bit more of a view of the site. We're all getting ready for day 3. And here's an example of one of the bars we saw here, where you could order some basic food, beer, soft drinks, crisps, snacks, that kind of thing. Okay, and the third day of kayaking, I was with Anna, and she was also fairly new to kayaking, so it was actually quite a good match between the two of us, because we were able to, let's say, go at a similar pace. And, you know, we weren't like racing. There was no hurry. But actually, this stretch was the most challenging of all the stretches we had. And actually, we did have one incident. So what you can see here is 2 of the lads, sadly, their kayak overturned, and this is the operation to get it out of the river. We did help to retrieve some of their goods that floated downstream as they flew out of the kayak. The guys were a little bit shaken up, but you can see there were a lot of obstacles, and the river was flowing a little bit faster in this stretch, even though it was only like a 13-kilometer stretch from, I think from Gwanbek was the last site, and we were destined to reach this place called Schwitt. And we found a nice little field to take a little bit of a breather, which was a good idea because, as I say, this was certainly a lot more challenging. And here, it doesn't look too bad, but there were certainly some stretches where we were almost completely stumped. And we actually had to go to ground a few times on this trip, which was a new experience for me. It's, of course, fun to drag your kayak out of the water onto a bank and over the bank to get back into the water. Everything was a little bit whenever you're getting in and out of a kayak, it's always a little bit nerve-wracking, especially when you're trying to kind of go from a raised bank that isn't necessarily designed for easy access. And yeah, we went to ground, I think, about 3 times. I think the only person in the group who didn't have to go to ground at all was Aga. She was able to get the right speed to get over some of those logs, and the rest of us were just playing it safe. This is an example of the kayaks being delivered. So this was our final campsite, and again we had the little shop, and I had to get a zapikanki. I did bring some food with me, but you could say maybe I got a little bit lazy and decided, you know what, if there's food available, why not? Whereas the more prepared people were busy spending a lot of time cooking. And you can see, as I say, a lot of fancy kitchen equipment, a lot of cookers, a lot of cutlery and crockery. And, you know, this site was a little bit basic, but it was still well equipped for us. You know, having a toilet and shower was a big bonus. But we did have to get our own firewood here, so This is me exploring the local woodland a little bit. And actually it was really cool because in exploring this area I found a few monuments, a few markers to sort of famous people that have been involved in the area or people who have passed away. Certain shrines as well, which are a little bit more distinctive than those you typically find around Poland. And here we are gathering the wood for the fire. So this was rather a little bit of work.
Rysiek, visa sticks.
Yeah, fair enough.
So Marcin schooling me on, because I was busy gathering, let's say, smaller sticks, which are very good for kindling, but not necessarily great for keeping a fire going. And again, it's very handy if you have the right tools when you're preparing firewood. So we had saws, and I think somebody had a hatchet, and here we are once again enjoying a nice relaxing stay by the fire. Plenty of drinking, plenty of cooking, the usual cycle. And of course singing will be following as well.
Twoje ręce perswaduję.
Inne. Twoje ręce?
Bynajmniej, nie jest mi to obojętne. Perswaduję.
So this was our little ritual. You say like twoje ręce, so like into your hands before passing the alcohol across. This is something that the group is well established. Here are some people cooking some potatoes in the fire. So something a little bit different to what I'm used to, other than kielbasa or marshmallows.
Myślałem mieć o żonie, aby stać się jednym z nich. Stać się jednym z nich. Stać się jednym z nich.
Yes, me desperately trying to keep up with the Polish lyrics, which wasn't always the easiest depending on the song. And here we are on our final stretch, which we were warned was going to be very bad because there were meant to be these really bad rapids with stones coming out of the water. And so I was a little petrified. I was in my head, I was thinking, should I walk this route? But actually, no. Apparently they'd done some work on this stretch of the river to make it a little bit easier. But yeah, this stretch is actually one of the best kayaking routes in Poland, said to be one of the most beautiful. And this river has actually been navigable since the 12th century. And pretty much has remained largely unchanged until the 18th century, except a bit of an area around Bydgoszcz, where they established Mill Island, and they have built a few little hydroelectric power plants along the river as well. But yeah, so here we are, last stretch, and we cut the trip a little bit shorter because, well, we were apprehensive about how difficult this last stretch was going to be, and of course we had to make it back to Warsaw. And I asked a few of the people what they thought about the trip.
Marcin, what did this trip, how did it make you feel?
Extremely relaxing and recharge my batteries for the next week. At least for the next week.
Brilliant.
Well, relaxed, like on vacations. Finally. Less work, more movement.
Nice.
Amazing. It's all about the people, and with right people you have the moments you like to return to.
Yeah, it made me connected with this amazing group, again and again and wanting to repeat it. And I feel like this is the thing I never wish to stop.
The trip was very relaxing, I'm thinking now.
I'm feeling very well.
Very well.
The trip was excellent. Many adventure. Kayaks is wonderful.
Very relaxed, very good, very nice, very fine.
I'm very happy.
And of course, all good things must come to an end. So we got back in our cars, which they were collected from the original point, but we had to stop for a bit of food on the way back. And I had a lovely bit of rossel and some kotlet skarbowy. And after this long trip and eating mainly zapikanki and kielbasa, it was good to have a decent meal at the end. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the journey. Stay tuned for more. Do zobaczenia.